Billionaire Elon Musk, recently appointed to President Trump's cabinet as Transportation Secretary and Border Czar, is now he is rounding up asylum seekers like cattle into his rocket ships. He calls them illegal aliens. The problem is the rockets keep exploding.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. We really don't have a country, do we? Like, we think we elect a president, and then we get that president's policies, but what we're learning here is that actually a bunch of unelected judges run this place and can totally gut the presidency and the will of 77 million Americans. Let's just be perfectly honest here, the will of hundreds of millions of Americans, because there are hundreds of millions of Trump supporters in this country, with a single blow. These district judges are out of their damned minds. A blue state judge attempts to stop all arrests. No more arrests from ICE, suspected illegal immigrants without a warrant. Border Patrol argues that it changes its procedures, making the ruling irrelevant. Let's read here. A California judge on Tuesday, on Tuesday demanded Border Patrol agents allow people that they think are living in the country illegally to stay in the country unless authorities have a warrant or a reason to believe the person may flee to get caught. U.S. District Judge Jennifer L. Thurston, clearly thirsty to be a woke superhero princess here, ruled Tuesday that Customs and Border Patrol agents in the Eastern District of California cannot stop illegal immigrants without reasonable suspicion to deport them via voluntary departure, unless the person is explained their rights, agrees to leave, according to the Associated Press. The decision comes after dozens of people were arrested in January during the Border Patrol's Operation Returned to Sender. It's a great name. The American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit against the, ACLU, against Kristi Noem, claiming Border Patrol agents unconstitutionally detain people who look like farm workers regardless of their actual immigration status. Well, F around, find out. Detainees were allegedly taken by bus to the border, held without being able to communicate with family or local representation, and forced to sign documents that stated that they waived their rights to see an immigration judge. Well, if you're here illegally, you don't have any rights. You are not a legal American citizen. The agency will be required to submit a report showing who was held. CBP claimed Thurston did not have jurisdiction to make the ruling, but said that it wouldn't matter if she did because the agency has already issued new guidance and training for its agents, detailing exactly when people can be stopped with or without arrest warrants. Thurston alleged the policy could change again in the future. Okay, well, got it. Jennifer Thurston, U.S. District Judge, issued an order banning Border Patrol from arresting people. So they've gone from like bring back the criminal alien terrorist to now you're not even allowed to arrest him here in America.
All right, another judicial pushback against President Trump's immigration crackdown. This comes after dozens were arrested in January during Border Patrol's Operation Return to Sender, where agents rounded up people determined to have entered the who were determined to have entered the country illegally. Yesterday, California District Judge Jennifer Thurston demanded CBP agents cannot arrest suspected illegal migrants without a warrant or reason to believe the person is a flight risk before they can get one.
U.S. District Judge Jennifer Thurston orders Border Patrol suspected illegal immigrants, unless they have a warrant, to not arrest them. This is not how the law works, of course. Arrests are made on the spot on the basis of probable cause. Even less at the border. Even less when you have no due process because you're not an American citizen. Liberal white women, man. Liberal white women. The woke, feminist, girl boss, liberal white women. The end of society. U.S. District Judge Jennifer Thurston ordered that Border Patrol cannot arrest illegal aliens. According to the ruling, Border Patrol must have reasonable suspicion and get a warrant. Got it? This is the end. Mike Lee, it appears that we have another judge problem. Jennifer Thurston has issued a ban on arresting criminal aliens. Officers routinely arrest without arrest warrant. They acquire probable cause to believe a crime has been committed. He cites the U.S. Code, expressly authorizes Border Patrol to make warrantless arrests and immigration violations of a person entering the U.S. illegally. I cannot fathom the justification, judicial order prohibiting Border Patrol from arresting illegal aliens without a warrant. Biden-appointed judge, by the way. Thurston, thirsty for that woke love. Corrupt judges must be stopped. Insane. Meet Jennifer Thurston, U.S. District Judge, who banned Border Patrol from arresting criminal aliens. Where was the judge to ban the arrests of January 6th? Patriots. Where's that judge? Why not? But judge, like, hey, I ban you from arresting J6ers, right? Free them all. This is incredible. I mean, it really is incredible. How this could be flipped around on them, I guess, right? You want to play by these rules. Yeah, Judge Jennifer L. Thurston. Like, Republicans just file a bunch of cases in Mississippi and Alabama and just get district judges there that are like extremely right wing to just rule against the next Democrat administration every single step they make. I mean, this isn't, it's just a horrible system. I mean, I'm not advocating for that system. I'm saying this is what they're creating now. Jennifer Thurston. That's not the way that it works. You berobed rube, you are not omnipotent. 75% of deportations expected returns. They are immediate extrajudicial expulsions since 1996. They were expedited under Obama, too, who deported 5 million people. Look at this. Judge prohibits Border Patrol from arrest. There's just such a great takedown against this judicial tyranny by Stephen Miller on CNN. It's worth listening. It's probably my favorite CNN hit, and I cannot believe they allowed him on air so long to just gut this judicial tyranny. Let's go.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
So, Stephen, when you say that this person has no authority at all, this is how our system works. It starts with these judges and then continues up. At what point does it become, in your view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I fail to see how there's any other way but to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist that is unlawfully in the country, he's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a commander-in-chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question, if you could answer my question first,
in other words,
is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would apply this way?
So I'll answer yours and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented that TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me and you're not understanding me. Read the statute. Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act
it does
of war.
say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we
Everyone can
found
go
it
see it. Yes. It says, or a predatory incursion, or an invasion. The statute delineates 3 criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all 3 statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute.
So,
but this is a very important
Stephen.
question, because no, hold on. It's a very important question. You said the way our system works is the President of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is fundamentally untrue.
I never said that, Stephen. I did not say.
That has never been true.
This was not a military operation.
A district court judge can no more enjoin the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can direct Marco Rubio to engage in diplomacy in a country or not.
Do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do, in fact, have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. In other words, the president's designation of Trinidad as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the system, Stephen,
how are you going to expel? Hold on. How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge? That means you have no country. It means you have no sovereignty. It means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.